What's happening, YouTube? It's Simon466cards, and today we're going to talk about how to judge centering on a card when it's online and not in person. A lot of times you'll see raw cards listed online that you want to buy. I might want to get graded, but it's hard to know exactly what the centering is, which is one of the very important components of grading, when you don't have the card in hand. Now you can do some things with rulers and such, but I'm not that technical and I don't have the time to do that kind of stuff, right? And so I've come up with a cheat code, I guess you'd call it, or like a really simple way of doing this. So I'll walk through this example with you here today. On your screen is a Trey Murphy card, and you'll see why I'm using this card in a minute. But when I first looked at this card, because I was like, oh, do I want to buy it? It's numbered out of 8. Maybe I can get it for a deal, grade it, and then if it tens, then I can sell it or something, right? And if we look at this card, I'm on the ComC website in case it wasn't obvious. If I zoom in, left to right, I ballpark it, and you look at this, you look at that, it looks pretty even and equal, right? So like left to right, looking pretty good. But then I saw the top and bottom centering seemed to be a little bit off, but I'm not really familiar with this card, and so I'm not sure, is this acceptable, is it not? It looks like it's not, but I'm not too sure. I don't want to get a ruler out. So what is the shortcut to figuring out centering? You look up other cards that are PSA 10s on eBay and see what you find. So that's what I have here. I have searched for 2021 Prism Trey Murphy PSA 10. So you know you're looking at PSA 10 acceptable centering. And so if I do that, you can see here, there's just like tons and tons of cards here, right? Because the one good thing about the Panini era for basketball, football is that there's tons of parallels. So you don't need to get the exact same parallel as the card you're in, because trying to find another version of a serial numbered out of 8 in a PSA 10, pretty unlikely. Finding one for just another parallel, more likely, right? So I'm going to click on a few of these here. And so as I mentioned earlier, the concern here was the top and bottom centering. And so what you look for is certain specific things that are easy to compare. And so for me, here Trey Murphy is jumping out of the card almost, right? So his hand is cut off at the fingertips here, it seems like. So now what we do is we compare that to this version, which is, you can see here, it's, oh no, this is an auto. We don't care about that. We look at this version and we look to see his hand is fully formed in the picture here, whereas here it is not. So that means this PSA 10 centering is meeting a standard that is not met here. So that's this card. We go do this again, we look at this blue or NBA 75th Prism, you can see again, you can see his full hand here, and it looks more centered as a whole. Again, the full hand is shown in this picture, the full hand is not shown in this card here. So based off of that, I would say that this card is not going to gem because of centering, and you could do similar things with left to right if there's something sticking out, or like maybe if you have the same 75th Prism logo, you can compare the logos and where they're positioned, something like that. You just need to pick one easily identifiable thing to compare from card to card or one of their parallels, and then you're good to go, right? Like if we do this one more time, we scroll down, let's now use an ice prism, whatever this is, one of the 85 parallels from Prism here. And if we take a look, you can see here, again, his hand is fully there. I think this one's a little bit worse. If we scroll, if we zoom out here a little bit, yeah, it's a little bit worse. There's a little less space between the hand and the edge of the card, but there's still enough to show the entire hand, whereas here there is not. So that is the short and quick and simple way to do this. When I get a card online, I want to figure out centering, just find another card that looks like it that isn't a PSA 10. There must be one out there, given all the parallels and cards that have been printed in the last few years. And obviously This applies more to ultra modern cards or even modern cards where there's bound to be a PSA 10 on eBay, on PWCC, on Golden, somewhere that exists that you can find. So yeah, I wanted to share that tip with you. I don't think I've seen anybody else do this type of a shortcut for centering for raw cards where you can only see them online before. So I thought I'd share it. Would love to know your comments. Is this something that you already do, or that this is something that you find helpful? And will you use this going forward now that you know about it? Or is there a better way? You let me know in the comments down below. Thank you as always for listening and watching. I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers.